it even got announced.
Well, we're live, pal. You might as well keep it going.
Oh my God. I wasn't even ready. What are we doing here?
Every week, baby.
What are we doing here?
Every single week. You might as well call us the hoodie gang. All three of us showed up today with hoodies on, even though, well, at least in the Midwest, we got us a heat front. It was 50 degrees today in Chicagoland. It was 54 degrees, I think, yesterday. I'm looking somewhere to go swimming tomorrow, baby.
Mm-hmm.
We done with them negative degree temperatures. I was contemplating life at points this winter with how cold it was. I'm no longer contemplating life. It's a beautiful thing right now. This is the TFW podcast, and I believe this is episode 189 of this said beautiful show. We are That's Freaking Wrestling, the best kept secret in wrestling podcast today. We are Three the Hard Way. I am here. I am your host, Matt. I am joined by the usual suspects. Eshaun is in the house. Rhodesia is in the house. We are all here. Remember, Rhodesia, you got to say something so it pops up on the YouTube.
I was trying to ask you a production question before you press start.
To produce you guys. And Rhodesia, you do it all the time. You speak when you're not supposed to speak. Then when you're supposed to speak, you don't speak.
I speak anytime I want to speak. So let's get that very, very clear. But no, I was trying to, I still had a production question to ask you. And you talking about we're live.
Oh, it's all good. What you got? Anybody listening?
Am I looking in the camera?
Yeah, both.
Hey,
man, she was so far up in the camera. It made me like 2 episodes ago. I got to move my damn microphone so you can see it. So I was like, okay, Rhodesia was talking about before she's like, man, like you look in the camera when you talk. Like I want to start doing it. I was like, great, that'd be awesome, right? She was like this, and then sometimes I just don't know who does anything when I watch it. So I was like, look, you gotta relax. You gotta like scoot back. You gotta chill out a little bit. And she did it. She did a really nice job last week. I was like, I think you're just too close. But she was adamant. She was like, and if we really think that John Cena, I was like, shit, scoot back, man. You scaring the folks. God bless. If you're not watching YouTube, my bad. This is an audio podcast as well. You can find us wherever you listen to audio podcasts. I think I realized that the last 3 weeks, we've been so talking about YouTube. We haven't told the beautiful folks out there that we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those spots. So we are anywhere audio. Of course, we are on YouTube. March to 1,000 subscribers is on. I think we're at 709 last time I checked. So shout out to everybody who continues to subscribe. You all know the deal, man. Put the information out there. Tell a friend, tell a family member. But Rhodesia, you had a production question. What was your production question?
I said, was I looking in the camera? Because you said last time I was looking over the camera. So right now, am I looking right in the camera?
Scoot back. So you're doing it again. Relax, man. Back.
All right,
back
so
the
is
fuck
this
back.
good?
Yes, you are good.
That ring light is killing me.
All right, let's get started. My good guy E sent me a text message, and I swear my people know me. Sends a text a few hours ago and said, "Do you have a Rock SmackDown rant?" And we have not talked about SmackDown. I don't think even Rhodesia and I talked about it. Well, she knows one part of it because Matt asked me a question Friday after we watched. But I hadn't tweeted about it. I haven't said anything about it to really anybody. I haven't been online a lot intentionally since Friday because I don't want anybody convoluting my thoughts on what we saw on SmackDown Friday night. I have not gone back to watch it more than once. I watched it that one time, and that was what I did. How would you, beautiful folks of the TFW podcast, like to start this conversation and this topic surrounding the final boss, Dwayne Johnson, showing up to Friday Night SmackDown in New Orleans last Friday night?
Rhodesia is shaking her head.
No. SmackDown isn't my specialty.
Wait, you saw it though, right?
Huh?
You saw it though, right?
I think, but I think I didn't. So
No,
it all
she saw
just
She pulling that shit again. She don't want to give it up. So she pulling that. And any I know we got some huge Rock fans. I will preface this by saying I am still a Rock fan. But if you are a huge Rock fan, stick with us, but you may be a little mad at me. Don't take it personal.
Oh, SmackDown was when The Rock came back. Sorry. You actually led the question with that. Okay. I'm thinking.
You was too busy looking to the camera. You wasn't even listening. He was locked, right? Looking at two people's souls.
The ring got me in a trance. We have to start with The Rock. You got to start with The Rock.
So, of course, we have to start with it. How do you guys want to start with it? Do you just want to start and y'all tell me how you liked it? If you didn't like it, how do y'all want to start this particular conversation?
E, what you got?
Well, Matt, let's go ahead and start with because I intentionally text you. I'm like, yeah. So like, you got a Rock rant for the night? And you said, my good man, I do. Right. So let's go ahead and start there. Let's go ahead and start. And let's get it off our chest. You haven't went online. You haven't talked about it. Let's go ahead. This is a place of unity, man. Let's get it off our chest. Let's talk about it. Let's get right into it.
Safe space, E?
Yes, sir. Safe space.
Safe space. Okay.
Unlike our chat.
Right, because y'all be snitching.
We still keep the good stuff or the bad stuff to ourselves. All right, so SmackDown. We have been talking about SmackDown as a totality of a show over the last few weeks of how these 3 hours is kicking SmackDown's ass, right? We've had those conversations. We've had the conversations about it just hasn't been where it needs to be. And on the opposite, I can't wait to talk about Raw because everything negative I have to say about SmackDown, I probably got the complete opposite feeling about Raw. Raw is on a really good roll right now. So SmackDown starts, and we know we got 3 hours, and I'm already jacked up. I am ready to fucking go because The Rock is on SmackDown, and word comes out, he's calling out Cody Rhodes. I'm like, let's fucking go. I don't care about nothing else on this show, but The Rock calling out whoever he's going to call out. I don't know if we somehow getting Rock and Roman. I don't know if we somehow getting Rock and Cody. I just know Dwayne Johnson's in the house, and he's going to allegedly call out Cody Rhodes. Let's get going. So they start with Jey Uso or Jimmy Uso and Drew. Thought the match was good. Thought it was really good. That for me is probably about where the positive things on this show ends. I pulled up the card just to make sure that I am clear. We had Drew versus Jimmy. Good match. Then we are doing this experiment of R-Truth and LA Knight with The Miz and Carmelo Hayes.
I want to come back to that after your Rock rant.
I can't hate on what is it? What's their name?
Oh shoot.
The name. I can't hate on the name. What's the name?
Can't miss with Miz.
Miz don't miss. No wait. Carmelo don't miss.
There you go.
I can't hate on that. But I wasn't a fan of it. Tiffany Stratton, Candice LeRae. You could tell that was rewritten Friday afternoon because it was clunky. Cool, whatever. So I'm sitting here looking at my clock like, all right, we are only here for one reason. And that is for The Rock to come out and get to the business. How are they going to fix this thing? So we got the match between Tiffany Stratton and Candice LeRae. So we got that part. What came after that? Oh, then it's fucking Rock time.
Yeah.
So we're about an hour and 50 minutes in to the show. It's Rock time now. I'm locked in. I'm like, here we go. They're putting it at the top of hour 3, just in case he goes long, right? We know how that can be. They don't want to get it cut off. Rock comes out. The final boss comes out. Problem number 1. What I just said. The Rock comes out. The final boss comes out. This man don't know if he wants to be a babyface or heel. Because I'd be damned if we didn't see all 2, 3, 4, 5 iterations of his babyface run and his heel run in one promo. He comes out and he says, hey, we're going to New Orleans for WrestleMania. Awesome. And then he immediately heals the crowd. Mm-hmm. He has this infatuation of telling and making sure we know he's doing character work. I don't know why he's doing that. If you're going to come out and be a heel, be a heel. If you can come out and be a babyface, be a babyface. I don't need you flip-flopping in the same promo. But cool. Now he's healing the crowd. All right, the crowd is, now they got to boo because you can tell he wants us to boo. So we'll go along with it. Cool. I'm still like, all right, man, like, all right, let's just get to the shit. Of course, word was already New Orleans was getting Mania next year. They were supposed to announce it at Super Bowl, but then something happened where they didn't. Cool, got it. Calls out Cody Rhodes. Cody comes out. On paper, if I did not watch this segment and somebody said, hey, on SmackDown, The Rock came back and announced WrestleMania is going to be in New Orleans next year, and he said he wants Cody Rhodes' soul. And he's going to show up to Elimination Chamber for Cody's answer. I would have been like, holy shit, what a segment. I'm locked in. But I watched the segment. And The Rock talked in circles for 48 minutes about him wanting a brother, him needing a brother, him never having a brother. And you know this, Cody. And you know this, Cody. And you know this, Cody. I'm like, okay, is he forgetting what he needs to say? Get to it, dude. What are you challenging this man at WrestleMania or not? Like, that is what we're here for at this point. He going around. And you know, we drank tequila together. And we drank tequila together. And our parents, our moms got together. And then we fucking showing videos of the moms together. All right, get to it, Rock. What are we doing? And you know, you're my brother. And I can take you all over the place. I run WWE. Cool, we got it, Rock. Get to the point. Because this could be a 5-minute segment. And you got Cody. Poor Cody. Cody don't know what's going on. Cody, he don't know if he should be smiling right now, if he should be frowning right now, if he should be crying right now. Cody has every emotion on his face every 5 seconds. He's just going through every single emotion. He don't know what to do. He emoting like nobody's business. We finally get to, after about 48 minutes of talking in circles, brothers, tequila, mamas, I want your soul. And I want you to tell me at Elimination Chamber if I can have your soul. What the fuck? Okay, cool. I'm on the ride because I'm watching Elimination Chamber anyway. So now I just got another reason to watch. I'm cool with that. He walks out, and the camera's on him like he's about to do something else. Camera's on Cody. Cody's going through the emotes again, right? He frowning. He don't know what to do. He's kind of sad a little bit because he knows he probably should go with him, but he's like, this wasn't part of the plan. I think he was getting maybe fucking PTSD from last year, flashbacks with The Rock in the ring on a SmackDown, and I don't know what's happening. All I know is something just feels like it ain't right. And they continue to just show The Rock walking up. I'm like, he's about to come back. Like, his Roman music is about to hit. What is about to, something's got to happen. Because Cody's still in the ring. Rock turns around, looks at him, takes his glasses off, oh, so slowly. Like, this is like, it's about to happen. It's about to go down. They go to commercial break. I sat there and I didn't say anything. Because I could look at Matt. I just look over at Matt. Matt's sitting to my left, or he's sitting to my right. This is after they both woke up. They both were asleep before this. So I look over at Matt. Matt's locked in. You could tell Matt's like, this is the best shit I've ever seen in my life. So I'm not going, I've always said I'm never going to poo-poo anybody's parade. If you like it, I love it. I look over at him, he's feeling it. During the commercial, he says, yeah, I like that. yeah, I like that. And what you like, man? Like, something's going to happen. What do you like? So what do you think is going to happen? I don't know what I mean, but like, I like that. Okay, cool. I think at that point I made it say, like, I hated it. I hated the execution. I said I love this whole thing of I want your soul. I do. I think it's great. I enjoy it because of all the ways they can go with it. Rock could literally turn this into, and I do also want to say, I do think this was planned. I don't think this was a case where The Rock called Triple H or called WWE 2 days ago and said, hey, I want to get involved in the WrestleMania build. Let me get involved. I have a feeling this was planned. I just don't think nobody knew. Maybe outside of Triple H and Nick Khan and The Rock. I think it was that close to the vest. But I love this because it could be you fucked up last year's WrestleMania build with my cousin, and I knew that was going to be the biggest match in WrestleMania history, and you and your Cody Crybabies messed it up, so now I'm just ruining your life. That could be an incredible storyline if he decides not to go with The Rock. But damn, why did we have to do like, if it was a GPS, we were going straight. half a mile, you are at your destination. We did not have to make 52 right turns to do 3 left turns just to get there in that promo. That promo just was not it. I didn't enjoy the promo. I didn't like going from face to heel, back to baby face. It just felt crazy to me. But overall, once again, on paper, I am a fan of what possibly they could be heading to. In execution, I thought it was the shits.
Okay. I think you are just super overly critical of that whole encounter. When they first said that the final boss would be back and to make an announcement, all the hoopla around WrestleMania, we knew that he was going to be Dwayne for a minute. You know, he comes out to Cash Money.
The block is hot.
Yeah.
Shout out to that.
You got some people talking about he done remix his entrance music. Like, you guys, like, again, Super Bowl wasn't for y'all. Super Bowl was for us. So he comes out to that. Super hype. Got me hype. Like, let's go. I haven't heard a rendition like that ever. He comes and does his piece of work, his piece of business. Hey, no, you're going to get WrestleMania 41. Then he turns into Dwayne. I think the problem that you probably dislike the most about, or what I'll say what I disliked about it the most is it he's rusty? Is it that he just has to get back the repetition of being that heel character? Because it almost seems like when he turns heel, he goes straight into his greatest hits. And in that transition, there's really not a good segue. He's just, boom, good face, or being Dwayne, like what we saw in the press conference, to straight bad guy. And I think that's probably for me was my disconnect. But at the end of it, I wasn't probably as hype as Matt because I just woke up. But I was like, this is it. Because the devil creates confusion. So throughout that whole 47 minutes, whatever you said that was in there, the 15 minutes he was in there, you're almost like, what's happening here? What's happening here? What's happening here? And finally he hit you with that line, and it just sounded so, whatever it sounded, you like, I know everybody's going to talk about it. So it sounded so weird and so almost like not proper. It almost felt like the devil. So for a half a second, I was pissed. I was like, oh my God, not another devil story. And even Punk called himself the devil on Raw. I was like, oh my God, I can't get away from the devil. But that's the way I took it from that interaction. Yes, is it fueled because of you ruined WrestleMania 40 with the Samoans? Absolutely. The bloodline for sure. But I actually liked the promo. I just think that he needs to get more back polished with going between good guy and bad guy. And again, it could just be this is his first time he's been back on TV for a while, and he has to do 2 accomplishments. 1, be Dwayne and promote WrestleMania, and 2, go on a storyline. It's just the word soul in his voice just didn't sound right. Like if somebody like Taker had said, I want your soul, boy, like then that sounds different. It was just so just almost off-putting and weird when I heard him say soul. Other than that, I actually thought it was a good interaction.
So I like the devil creates confusion line. Like I like that.
Thank you.
So for the overall promo, I wasn't as down on it as Matt was. I knew going into it that Matt would be. However, I think right now, I think we got to take Rock. He's just a character onto himself. Like he's just coming out there to be entertaining. Like right, Rock wants to be liked, but he also has fun playing this evil bad guy character. So that's what we're going to get. We've been getting this is the final boss character we've gotten for the whole ride, right? We in one town he got the sing along, he got the guitar, he's doing this thing. The next day he's whipping Cody with the belt, calling on Mama Rose. Like right, this is who Rock has been for some time now. For me personally, I didn't like the back and forth that he was kind of doing. I don't think it's like a emotional roller coaster type of a deal either, right? Maybe he's trying to do that. He's trying to bring people in just to smack you in the face, right? Maybe that's just kind of what he's going for as a heel. But for me, I feel like Rock has just been entertaining. I would say like the hand on the man's cheek. Like I don't know how I feel about another man taking their hand and resting so softly and gently on my cheek.
He
and
kissed
looking
him
at me
before
deep
that,
in
too.
my eye.
Don't forget that. He kissed him on the cheek. Remember that? And they got in the ring. He kissed him.
See, just
Then he
ever
caressed
so
him.
gently, he just takes his hand and rests on another man's cheek and look at him deep in his eye and say, I want your soul, right? Like usually my wife tells me that, like, right, and I'm willing to give it, right? But I don't know how I feel about it. If that's what you're into, like, look, love who you love, be who you want to be, but disrespect me, no. But whatever, right? That seemed creepy and it seemed kind of weird and it seemed kind of out of place, to be honest with you, right? So, like, like I get the roller coaster of face and heel, but I don't know now. What is you, like a Mortal Kombat character now? Like what? like right? And then at the same time, it's like you're setting this man up. It's like, hey, I want to take you to levels you've never been before, right? Essentially, I want you to sell out. And I want you to bring it to me. Like, how can you present that? Like, when you add that line to it, now it's not as appealing. Like, right? Like, You're like, hey, like I'm all good up until you putting you resting your palm on my cheek softly, looking at me in my eye and say you wanted my soul. Like, that was kind of weird to me. Like, if that's the only part of the promo that I had a problem or issue with. My biggest thing, Matt, and I thought this is kind of where they're gonna go to. I don't know if you saw the press conference, but Rock saying, like, look, this ain't gonna lead to a match.
Yeah.
We're not getting to that yet.
Okay.
Like, that's what I
Back to
had.
Dwayne,
Like,
back to Dwayne,
When he said, I said, what did he just say?
that's the what I'm like.
What?
Oh, that's
you
my
got pissed for no reason, Matt.
Rose all the way up. Like, we sat through 35 minutes.
Bam. Right.
Like, right. Just for you to
tell us this may not end, then how is it going to end, final boss? You are the final boss for a reason. That means it needs to end in the match. Now, granted, I guess if y'all want to go there now, we can go there. Before we go, okay, we'll go there. Because I tell you what probably was the most egregious. Now you got me hyped. I tell you what probably was the most egregious thing of the whole fucking night for me. They come back from commercial and DIY and damn who the fuck what's the names? I'm about to call him Lash Legend. Pretty Deadly.
The boys, Pretty Deadly.
Pretty Deadly.
Yeah.
You follow all respect in the world to those guys. Fans of everybody. Enjoy all their work. If you don't get the fuck off my TV screen and explain to me, I need a recap. I need Reader's Digest version of that 47-minute promo Dwayne Johnson just gave me so I can understand what you are trying to tell me. And then for you to follow that shit up in the press conference to say, oh man, this may not even, you know the cool thing about the final boss character is that it's a unicorn that we don't even have to do a match. This whole story, this thing is fun. We don't excuse the fuck out of me. You don't have to do a match. Now, unless he means we don't have to, and this is what I'm thinking he's because he's been in the wrestling business his entire life. You have to know if you start something in the wrestling ring, it ends in the wrestling ring. That's the point of having stories. You tell the stories to get the payoff at the end of the match, whenever that match is. Unless he means Cody and I don't have to have a match because Cody and I are going to be aligned.
That's what I'm thinking. That's how I interpret that.
If Cody comes to the dark side and I pull him to what everybody's been talking about, when is he going to turn full Homelander? When is he going to go Star Wars? If we are side by side, this story doesn't have to end with me and Cody wrestling. If that is the case, cool. Why you still felt like you need to stooge that off though and even say that? Whatever. Right? Because it's not on the actual TV show. We had to go out our way to watch the press conference. Cool. We opened those can of worms. But when that man said that, I was like, oh shit. I was already down on this promo segment. And now you telling me we may not ever see you two wrestle in the ring? All right, man. What time AEW Dynamite come on?
I was about to say, when you said that they came back and you saw DIY and Pretty Deli in the ring without a recap, two things. One, that's something AEW would do. I said I was going to badmouth AEW ever again. But two, they couldn't recap it because they don't even understand what happened. The whole thing was just convoluted and crazy. It's confusion. That's all it is.
Like when they said that, because I heard some people like, David Graphic is on the show. Like, a super guy. He's like, hey, they're pulling the curtain back. They're like, Rock is, he's supposed to be the final boss character, but now here he is being this great ambassador, and he's kikiing on the camera and whatnot. Like, look, whatever, man. Like the business is exposed. Like, it's naked, ass cheeks, booty cheeks is all out in the open right now, right? It's been like that for years. I'm not worried about that. For me, it's just like, okay, like if we just sat there for an hour in a segment leading up to WrestleMania, and like if that's not leading to something with WrestleMania, then what we doing?
Mm-hmm.
For me, like, right, I get the entertainment pieces. This is like in the middle of the year, and we got some time to spare, whatever, cool. But for me, I'm thinking, all right, now this is Mania season, right? Right now we about to start getting this to get the juice cooking, right? They done finally put some grease on that skillet. You know what I'm saying? That bitch is starting to sizzle. Okay, now they want to dump that chicken in that bitch, right? That's what I'm thinking is about to happen. But no, you telling me, oh, you turning that bitch down? You know what I'm saying?
Put on warm.
You put that warm. You don't take the chicken and you don't put it back in the refrigerator. God damn it! That's what you're trying to do. That's what you're telling me. That's what I had a problem with. Like, okay, what was the whole hour for? So then, all right. So my mind, I gotta make it work. I can't leave it like that because I can't be hot and bothered. I told Katrina, look, she ain't gotta be awake because I the baby oil is on the counter. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all good. So
dog, hey, you
you
was about to say no. Now this is when we gotta pause the show. This is when we gotta press the pause button. Last week,
it's all jokes.
You said, of course, it's all jokes. Last week you said, hey man, I need to like just know like pool household. Y'all watch? Like y'all watch together? Like how that thing go? You said the first 30 minutes of this show, you have no problem giving your wife your soul. She asked for your soul, you give it to her. Now you talking about she could be knocked out and you gonna take it. What's really going on?
This is jokes.
Over there in the E's household.
Everything. Listen.
His jokes.
Let me. I got. This is a real life story. I'm gonna tell y'all real quick. Went to church. Like I said, what church in Michigan? Scared to death. This man's talking to me. It's the pastor's about to marry us. This man talked to me for an hour and a half about sexing his wife in church.
His wife?
His wife. Hour and a half about sex with his wife in church. So as we're coming down, we're waiting. Katrina's like mom or somebody was late. So like the wedding was like an hour late, right? So we had about another 45 minutes. Now we waiting for like another 45 minutes. We in the room before we get to the chapel. Church of God. This man is still talking about sex with his wife. Ruined my life. So to say all that, say this, it's all good in our household. So anyway, back to Rock and Cody Rhodes.
Hey, well, real quick, one last question: what was better, The Rock's 47-minute promo, or your pastor's hour and a half promo on his sex life? Which one did you enjoy more?
I think I was scarred for life, man. Because I felt like I was sinning. I ain't know you supposed to talk like this in church before. I had no idea, and he was getting so graphic. I'm like, oh my God.
And what was the point? Was it for him to tell you like, don't? This is what you can enjoy when like y'all get married, or what?
I get my wife so wet. I mean,
yo.
And so let me tell you, this is how. Like, I got to get back to the story. So. Our good friend Reggie, he's my best man at my wedding, right? So at this point, he's with us waiting to get in the chapel, right? Because we know the best man's walking out with the groom. And so as he's having this conversation, I felt like I was having an out of body experience, right? And maybe I'm tripping because I'm getting married, you know what I'm saying? The player is settling down, you know what I'm saying? I've never had one woman before in my life. Now I'm about to go ahead and do this thing. It'll be forever. Maybe I'm thinking, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm on a trip right now, right? So as this man is telling me about his wife, in the house of the Lord, I look at Reggie. I gotta admit, I'm like, it's just happening right now. So my man Reggie look at me and he's smirking, look to the other side like, woo. He's like, yeah, it's happening. E. Oh my God.
Final question on it. Was you probably not going to answer for your pastor? Is your pastor and or the first lady cute in any way to make this sound?
This was Katrina's. This is one of the super big churches Super big churches. It wasn't my church. It was Katrina's church. She wanted to get married there.
Oh boy.
I don't.
So
I
is the
don't know
pastor
these
cute?
people.
Is the pastor cute?
Honestly,
What
I
the woman
can't.
say?
I don't remember the man. I don't remember the man.
Okay.
I just remember the conversation. I don't remember these people no more. I ain't never seen
You
this man
purged that
before.
out of your head.
I ain't never seen this man before. I ain't never seen his wife before. I didn't know these people. Which is why this man felt the need to talk to me about 2.5 hours about his sexual relations in the house of the Lord. Woo! I guess that's a roller coaster, just like on Rock's promo. But let's go back to Rock's promo, right? So if this is leading to a match, like, where are we going for the hour? So I'm like, it gotta make sense in my mind. Where are we going with this? Like, right? Maybe he's gonna add a stipulation to a Mania match. Maybe he's gonna stack the deck and Cody in some type of way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we do get a two matches out of Cody. Like, right? If he doesn't sell his soul, because I don't think Cody turns heel just yet. I feel like there's still a lot of money in a babyface run with Cody. I don't think we're just there yet from a business perspective. I don't think it's time just yet. So maybe he stacks the deck against Cody, and maybe he, they get the confrontation at the Elimination Chamber. Maybe a couple months from now, Rock pops up again on a random Raw or SmackDown, and he makes the announcement like, "Hey, we're gonna have Cody doing double duty." Like, right? He's gonna be in the Elimination Chamber winner match. He's also going to be interjected into a 4-way match, with Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth, Cody Rhodes for the championship. And the winner of that match wrestles, I'm going to assume, John Cena from Elimination Chambers. Maybe that's where they go.
So, do you guys want to talk about what that segment can look like at Elimination Chamber, or do you want to wait till we get to the preview of Elimination Chamber?
Just wait.
Okay, so then I'll wait to answer what E said, because that's a direct. I have to, we got to talk about that. Like, what is then, if this is not going to be a match at this year's WrestleMania, then what does this look like? Why is The Rock here? And there's a few different ways they can go. But I knew it wasn't just to announce Super Bowl. So that was the other part too, was, of course, I was still holding out hope for Rock and Roman. I'm like, I got to see how he is going to completely erase what he did on the first Raw on Netflix. Because regardless, he had to erase it. If it was something with Cody, he would have to have erased it. If it was Roman, he had to erase it. And he played it in a way, and once again, that's why I said on paper, this works. I put you into a false sense of security, potentially, Cody Rhodes. We were out drinking. We were at the Moana 2 premiere, drinking tequila. I put you over on the first Raw show, drinking backstage on my Instagram, because you are like my brother. But now I need your soul. I need you to be my champion. I need to take you to that next level. Somebody's going to have to be aligned with The Rock. So then I guess we can talk about that then when we get to the Elimination Chamber preview. But I did walk away from SmackDown feeling a little disappointed with, okay, then what is the point of you getting involved if it is not directly going to affect Cody, potentially making him bigger and better? Because, of course, I want him still to be a heel when the time comes. I think we can all agree Rock just ain't going to show up to Elimination Chamber. Cody's like, yep, you can have my soul, and then they walk hand in hand. I think we know that's not going to happen. So now it's just a matter of how they play their cards with the preview. So we can talk about that a little bit later. But that was kind of what I thought. Like, those were my legit real world feelings on how that segment went. I'm interested to see. SmackDown's ratings was high. Of course, it would be. The Rock is involved, so we know that. I'm interested to see what changes with the Elimination Chamber, if any, in regards to this whole situation. Like, is it going to be in a isolated bubble? Like, is this going to be like another promo segment? Or is this somehow going to be interweaved into something else that happens on the show immediately. I
think
saw
it's
some
gonna be
people.
former.
You think that?
I think it's going to just be something separate in its own. I was going to ask you before you kind of jumped a little bit to the chamber. Did they sell out yet? I mean, could this just keeping it simple and basic? Could this just be Rock's way of bringing in more dollars, more into selling out Elimination Chamber?
I don't think so. I mean, they're in the stadium. They're doing pretty well. I'll pull up right now how many tickets they have.
Because that's what I was thinking.
So for me, that was the biggest thing, just in terms of they put even more hype behind another show. So there's, as of yesterday, there was 2,283 tickets left. They've already sold 30,000 seats.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they just wanted to pack that mug to the fullest. Because, again, it's kind of like, I'm not going to bring up that other company. So I would just say that this is maybe Rock's way of getting even more buys, more views on that stadium show before Mania.
I don't see that, because this has to be directly tied to WrestleMania. That's why I say I think this has been planned for some time.
I agree with that.
Weeks or what, but this is, hey, and what we can do too is let's do it at Elimination Chamber, right? Like that's the secondary piece to this. The primary piece to this is this has to get paid off. Even if, to what Rock said on the press conference, it's not paid off in a wrestling match at WrestleMania, it's got to get paid off. The payoff is going to happen at WrestleMania. Either Cody turns heel, one of the other baby faces turn heel, because what I would love, maybe even more than Cody turning heel, to E's point, we've talked about it weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Business-wise, probably doesn't make the most sense. Storyline-wise and content-wise, it makes all the sense in the world to turn Cody sooner rather than later. I think I even said on Twitter, I think Cody as a baby face, this would completely extend his time on top. You could get the feeling, somebody can argue, Cody as a baby face, once he gets through WrestleMania, not that he would be stagnant, but it's just like, what's next? You could argue that. You damn sure can argue that if he turns heel. But a situation potentially where CM Punk aligns with The Rock, with their history, and CM Punk saying, I'm a friend, I'm going to stab you in the front. Let's go back to these promos. These promos are connected. Seth. Cody told him on Raw, I know who you are. I know what type of heart you have. You showed us with the Shield. You've shown who you are. That's an easy layup. Slam dunk if you wanted to do that. I wouldn't do that because we've been down that road. But imagine a CM Punk heel run with The Rock, or even John Cena aligning with The Rock to win that championship because it's best for business. I am doing what is best for business. You turned it down, Cody. I am doing what you couldn't do, what you wouldn't do.
No, you can't drag my guy John Cena down like that.
I'm just saying.
He's had 25, 37 years in the company, and he wasn't a bad guy at the end. Like, outside of the very beginning, he can't. He wanted to be, but he can't.
He wanted to be.
No.
But those are the type of things that now that The Rock is in play, you got to pay it off. You have to pay it off at WrestleMania. Something like that has to happen. The one that I don't want, because I just think there's not much to it, is Drew McIntyre. That would be, for me, kind of just
like overkill.
It would be ho-hum. Right? Like, that wouldn't be shocking at all that Drew goes with, okay, he's a heel already. Why wouldn't he go with The Rock? It has to be somebody that sends shockwaves through the promotion, where you're like, no matter what, I have to watch Monday Night Raw the night after WrestleMania Night 2 because I got to see what that looks like. And to me, it's not Drew. It is either Cody, it's Punk, it's Cena. And then we still got to talk about where Roman goes into this. Does Roman care at all about this? Or does Roman catch maybe an attitude of, you talking about you wanted a brother, even though we fought side by side last year at WrestleMania? Like, that's what I'm excited about. So they got some good ways of going, but they got to stick the landing. To me, that's one of these. If they don't stick the landing, it's like, all right, we just wasted a valuable opportunity, especially if The Rock's not wrestling this year at WrestleMania, which it doesn't look like he is. Maybe this is all a smoke screen. Maybe we still get Rock and Cody. Maybe that's a possibility too.
Because that's all Roman said. Roman said, all I care about is getting my tribal chief back, my Ulafala, which he did, and getting back the title. So that's hit on his business plan for this year. That is his goals.
I don't think you necessarily need shockwaves, not for WrestleMania, and not for how the WWE is right now. I think you need to just tell good stories that make sense that can retain your audience, like right now, because they're peaking at the all-time level, right? So we talk about a Cody, right? Like, so you take away, like, Cody is, man, he like up here, like, right now. I know, like, the hardcores, it's just like John Cena back in the day. Like, we can't wait to turn like the top baby face heel because our personal taste aligns with who they are in a negative light. But it's something to be said when you got like a very hot baby face, because you need to have a very hot baby face along with a very high heel. So it would make more sense for them to build a heel to tackle this baby face character right now. And I don't know if you necessarily have that right now. Like, you can make Cody that. Sure, he could be a top heel, but who would be like the super hot? Yeah, I guess you got Jay, but you can have both right now. Like, right? I think it would make more sense. Maybe Drew might be the boring route, but it would make sense, and it would kind of, I think, give you some compelling television, because we haven't had a long Drew and Cody program. I'm sure they might have had a match or something like that. I'm sure they probably have in the past couple of years since Cody's been back, but we haven't had a long program, and that's a program that I want to see. I want to see Drew in the title picture in a long story, because he deserves a championship. He is a champion. He might be their top heel, right? I can't think of who's shit. Yeah, he is the top heel. I'll take Roman. Well, Roman is a babyface right now, or he's tweener, whatever he is. Or it makes more sense if you're going to continue to build Jacob, to continue to have him align with the family.
Yeah,
like, this is the next guy, right? Because The Rock could do to Roman to any of those guys, right? Outside of like a CM Punk. But I just don't think you need two big talkers like that occupying the same space. I think it would make more sense to have The Rock, the aura that he has around a guy who they can kind of build up from the ground up. Somebody who's like on the uptake. We talk about Jacob. We can make Jacob to be like the next big superstar, the next big heel, if he's behind one of the biggest, guys in the company, the boss, the final boss. I think that's a layup right there, right? You want to continue to make Jacob be that guy, but I kind of feel like right now at WrestleMania, you don't need any of that. I still don't feel like. I know we got it's February 25th. We got WrestleMania is April?
Kinda, yeah.
Almost 2 months.
Damn near 2 months still.
Yep, almost. You know,
2 months. Like, we still don't have that box art I'm looking for. We still don't have it.
Well, that should be much clearer next week after Elimination Chamber this weekend. That should be much clearer. And then you got the Raw Monday. It should be much clearer. Much, much clearer. Because then we'll have the winner of Rhea and Io. We'll see how that looks. Jade is coming. She's got to be coming in the next 7 to 14 days on WWE TV. Don't forget, Becky Lynch is still out there. I mean, this is when we're going to really start seeing the WrestleMania build, I think, after Elimination Chamber. Let me ask you guys a question surrounding The Rock's involvement. Did he do enough in that promo? And even if it's for you after the promo, you've had time to sit and digest it and think about the possibilities of what could happen. Was that enough to cancel out for you his appearance on Raw, the first one on Netflix, where he put Cody over, said he drunk tequila with Cody, put the Ula follow on Roman, gave him a kiss on the cheek, and kind of at the time we thought, oh, he just wrapped up all of his stories. He has no loose ends now. Like, it's over. Did that promo do enough for you to say, all right, we're back? Or were you like, man, this is really taking me some, like, I got to really think hard on making this work in my mind?
I think I'm indifferent on that response because The Rock or Dwayne Johnson we saw at Netflix premiere was not The Rock or the final boss. And I think they made a very clear distinction between the two. Hey, Dwayne Johnson or The Rock is going to be here versus the final boss is going to be here. So I think that those two have nothing to do with each other. So did it cancel it out? No, but I don't, it wasn't intended in my mind to cancel it out. Do you get what I mean?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, to me, like, I didn't feel like that was like his appearance on Raw was like a conclusion to anything. I feel like it was open ended enough to where they can tie something up later on if they wanted to, right? Because like I said, Rock wasn't in there, clapping and jumping and doing cartwheels with them. He had like a look. They had like some weird, looks into the camera that he can kind of play into later on, and it still was like a weird dynamic between the two of them. They can play up later on. He can. And here's the thing about being a heel. He's a bad guy. He can always say he was lying to Cody. He was trying to draw him in. There's a lot of different ways you can kind of work around that. So for me, there wasn't a definite conclusion. I feel like they left the door open enough to where they can come back into it.
I do think I remember like that commercial break, or maybe it was toward the end of the show, or it could have been this when the show was over. I was like, this will be the worst we see of The Rock. If you remember last year, he got better and better. That entrance got better and better after every time he showed back up on TV, and he really hit his groove probably about 3 or 4 weeks before Mania. I'm like, we were just like, damn, man, like he's smoking it right now with those IG promos, what he was doing on television. So I do think this is going to be the worst that we see of him. But I'm glad that you guys liked it more than I did. I thought it was a little rough. What else y'all got for from SmackDown before we move on to Raw?
I think we just touched on it. I was happy. I like the whole Mellow Dome is. I actually thought that was a pretty cool combination. I know that a lot of people were upset with Mellow being a part of Miz, like being attached to him. And I can kind of see their point, but we're in WrestleMania season, and I would rather still have exposure to Carmelo, still be able to see him every week. And that way he's not forgotten, so that when the end of the season is over and next season starts, he can go into a more meaningful singles role. I just know a lot of people got irritated and mad that he was teamed up with The Miz, but I thought it was actually pretty cool. I thought it was entertaining.
I was fine with it. My last thing about SmackDown, let's get to Raw, is that Jacob and Solo match that's on the docket on the rumor mill. I'm not here for it. Hey, we got it's
or you are.
I'm not here for it. But this is one of them things where it's February 25th. We got a month and a half. They can build some interest, but I don't know how they can make Solo a sympathetic character to make you want to see him win or lose against Jacob. I don't know they can build enough investment to make me care about him as a protagonist in that situation. I think that's going to be a flat match, to be honest with y'all.
I don't. They'll do something to make sure that we are invested. I personally am excited for the story of that. And I do think you can make Solo a sympathetic figure just by putting him back in the good graces of Jimmy and Jay. And it could be something as simple as, for some reason, Jey Uso's wrestling on SmackDown this week. And for some reason, Jacob and Tama jump Jay, and then Solo comes to his aid. It could be something as simple as that. But we still need to get to, and Roman hasn't been around, but we still need to get to when Solo said, if he beats me for it, I will acknowledge him as my tribal chief.
We haven't got that yet.
I don't know if they just think we forgot about that, or things have changed in the story, so we don't need to go there at all. There's just no way that wasn't done on purpose. There has to be a reason, because they've done a great job, once again, particularly on Raw, of bringing up things that has happened months or years ago where it's shining more light, or it makes more sense, or they just harken back to it. And you're like, oh, damn, that is correct. But I personally think that I am here for the build. How the match is going to be, we'll see. But I'm excited to see what Solo can do, especially, and I know he's got to be hearing everybody's just talking about how Jacob is just completely blowing him out the water right now.
Yep.
Yeah, and to a certain extent, part of that I think is the character, because for a long time we didn't see Solo talking. Solo was talking his ass off in NXT as a street champ, and he was a really good character in NXT. Then he comes up, he doesn't talk for a year plus, and then when he does start talking, he is just a carbon copy of Roman Reigns. He's a discount Roman Reigns with Acknowledge Me. So yeah, I'm here for it. I am here for it to see how it plays itself out.
And you know, Jacob is Super Cena, so he doesn't sell anything. So I think they kind of set themselves up for that. Again, now this is their opportunity to make Solo important enough to for us to care about it. When it comes to the bloodline, I've said it already. I am biased and partial to them. I'm pretty much ready to watch anything that they put on for us, except for Jimmy and Jay at WrestleMania last year.
Yeah, that was kind of rough. I will say that I love Tama. Like, he's very subtle, right? Like when Solo, he's about to leave, and Solo like kind of smacked him on the chest a little bit, you know? And then Tama looked at his hand and kind of stared at his chest until he walked away, and then kind of looked up at like a little grimace. Like, oh, you ain't the right hand man no more, fella.
Yeah, buddy.
You ain't the right hand. You ain't the right hand man. Not yours anyway.
Yep.
So it's definitely going to go down.
I enjoyed all their segments together so far. I really have. And Solo wasn't upset that he kicked, or Jacob wasn't upset he kicked Solo either. That was good to see. That was interesting. It's gonna be fun. That's probably, to me, one of the only highlights of SmackDown is what they're doing with that. I am happy that Melo's on our TVs every week. That's all I care about right now.
Yeah.
Like, I get, you can look at it and say how bad SmackDown is. Melo could be in a more prominent position. Completely understand that. Mm-hmm. Somebody could easily say, put the damn U.S. title belt on Melo and have him run and work awesome matches every single week. You get it. But if he's not slotted for that right now, and I'm going to only hope it's a reason why he's not slotted for that, and they got some really nice plans for him after WrestleMania, him showing another side of himself, of course, with The Miz, and doing all that, whatever, I'm cool. I mean, that's a pretty good company to be in. Seems like a lot of the greats have either had rivalries with The Miz or have been in a tag team with The Miz. We saw Big Show, we saw Jericho, we saw R-Truth. I'm sure, I mean, we can probably the list can go on and on and on who The Miz is tag teamed with, but it's not a bad company to be with.
And I was going to say, I found it a little disrespectful when I saw that, because, like, yeah, we know Miz is not the A-star, but Miz is your utility knife, the one that they confiscated from me at TSA, where you have everything on it. All you need is this one device, and you can use it as a screwdriver, a can opener, all of that. And Miz has been that, and he's been that ever since he pretty much, when he was reading on his hands, when he was doing the talent search, whatever it was called. I mean, Miz has always been Diva Search. Miz has always been that. He's been a constant with them. So again, I kind of felt like they didn't put respect on his name when they were like, why is Carmelo with them? He's consistent. So.
All right, let's talk about Raw. I really enjoy Raw, guys. I do. I think it's a fantastic show right now, and it feels like it's getting better and better each week. You know, I even tweeted about it last night. We watched it late. I typically don't watch. Hey, anybody that has a LG television, I'm about to give y'all the game. You may not know this. We typically use Apple TV for Netflix, and for whatever reason, the second week of Raw, we use just the TV. So we're using the LG TV app for Netflix. If you start Netflix or you start Raw late, it gives you an option. So it pops on. So you go just, watch live, press pause. It gives you an option to start from the beginning. If you press start from the beginning, it takes all the commercials out. There are no commercials when you watch. It even tells you while you're watching, this live program has concluded while you're watching it. Of course, it doesn't give anything away, but it just tells you this show is over. So just spoiler or just a little bit of a tip for anybody. I know Bushman sent me a text last night like, man, these commercials are for the birds, dude. Like, we're paying $26 a month. Got to watch commercials. I was like, well, actually, if you got LG TV, you don't have to watch commercials.
Netflix is that expensive now?
Yes.
It's expensive.
What happened to $9.99?
2001 is no longer a thing. It's 2025 now.
Y'all hear these rich people like they just paying for service and have no idea how much it costs. Ain't that about
I ain't paying for it. That Netflix would have been canceled a long time ago.
We would have been
the first increase.
Watch wrestling in 240p.
Hey,
Rhodesia have us watching Thursday Night Raw. That should be 72 hours
Thursday
later.
Night Raw. Hey, I gotta be honest with you though. I thought like I don't look at the LG app actually, but I thought everywhere. I mean, I press pause, and then it says play from the beginning, and then like it doesn't get rid of the commercials, but I can fast forward through them.
Yeah, like they completely go away.
Cool.
So it goes to like commercial, and then comes right back in the ring action or whatever that may be. The only commercial that you still see is like the 2K commercials. Or like if it's like for like the PLE, but like all the commercial segments completely wiped out.
You know what? Yeah, because like when I'm thinking commercials, those are what I see. I see the WWE censored one, whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah, but you ain't seeing no Carfax commercials though.
No, I haven't seen Carfax.
Yeah, you ain't seeing no parking commercials.
Oh
baby.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Yes,
I haven't
sir.
seen that in a long time. Because
Yes, sir.
I usually watch Raw either on delay or I watch it the next day. Typically, I don't usually watch it live. I need some fast forward time.
Back in ass, new women tag team champions. I think they did just for the TFW pod. So shout out to Liv and Raquel. That match, chef's kiss, early match of the year candidate.
Ooh.
It won't be a match of the year by the time December comes, but right now it's one of those you haven't seen it, stop right now and go watch type matches. That was that. I loved it. Bianca, Trinity, Naomi. Kudos to those women for making the tag team titles mean something that they maybe have not meant in a very long time. Awesome job to them for putting in that work. Awesome job to them for putting on that match. That match on paper had no business being as good as it was. And it just shows when you let them go out, wherever you heard this from, and show their talent, give them time, give them a story, they can be just as good as anybody else that we see on our TVs. And WWE did that last night. What'd you guys think of that match? And what'd you think of Liv and Raquel win the tag titles?
I think I got one thing to say. You could have won it. You just didn't have to win it in Black History Month. That was it. That's all I got to say.
Hey, you want to know when I knew they were going to win? When I saw back in ass with matching outfits on. Like the team knows that's like a theory I have. I feel like whoever is going to win a championship always has new ring gear. That's why I said in that main event, I was like, maybe Jay can win this, right? So maybe Jay can win. That's how he came out with the same old shit. And I know like just the paper PLE before that, he had new gear. And now you bring some old gear for this one? I'm like, oh, he's losing. So I'm like, wait a minute. This is the first time these girls have had matching ring gear that I've noticed. They have something similar, but they actually have matching gear. Like, oh, like they going over tonight. Really good match. Had a couple of like weird shit in the match towards the end, kind of threw me off a little bit, but I still was able to get back into it. Like when Dominic put that leg on the rope, you know, like he was like
in front of the ref.
Yeah, right in front of the ref. Literally watching him do it.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck? Yeah, what y'all doing out here, right? And then I think that I've never seen Naomi and Bianca do the double, whatever they call her move.
Yeah,
like that was a little clunky, a little bit. But outside of those two little boo boos, really good match. Because a lot of times for me, especially when I watched the whole show on Monday. If it's a 3-hour show, I'm not watching the full thing. And usually by the main event, I'm usually checked out. I'm usually doing something else if I'm moving up. But I couldn't keep my eyes off the actual match because it kept drawing me in with the action. Really, really good back and forth. Awesome near falls.
False finishes were fantastic, man. They had legit, I think I counted 4. Either 4 or 5 that were legit false finishes.
False finishes, really good.
I was like, oh, this is the finish. This is the finish. And it's funny, Rhodesia, she didn't watch the match. That's why she kind of just blew through that. And just talking about Black History Month. We'll talk about that in a second, too. I cannot believe they have not mentioned Black History Month. But
snitch, but yep, you're right.
I knew.
Well, they're taking it out of the school, so why would they mention it on the show?
Hey, look.
Mm-mm.
Did
we
that's
get
nasty.
a Dr. King promo in January to start the show?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Hey, Vince is gone. Hey, Dirty Vince. That's. Hey, we knew Vince was gonna give us a Dr. King thing.
And Vince loved Dr. Martin Luther King. He loved Dr. Martin Luther King. So
hey,
we knew we was
he
getting
fired
that.
and buried dudes if they didn't acknowledge King Day.
Sure did. But them not acknowledging Black History Month is kind of nasty. Like I don't like that.
Nasty work.
Of course, black wrestlers losing. I don't care about that. But I knew Rhodesia. So the match was something happened earlier in the show. And Rhodesia made a comment out loud about either Bianca and Naomi winning or Liv and Raquel not winning. And I knew 100% fact Liv and Raquel was winning. I didn't say anything because I'm not just be like, oh, you're wrong. And then after the match,
you do this shit on the show. Why wouldn't you do it in real life?
Show's tape. You don't have to listen. You're sitting there with me. You have to listen to what I got to say. And she asked me, she's like, why did you say that you just knew? I said, well, a couple reasons why. One, we're going into WrestleMania season. Bianca does not need the women's tag team title. That's a big one. They're both going to Elimination Chamber. They don't need the championships. Two, Liv cannot take a loss again. She just lost her title. She's not about to now lose the tag titles. There's nowhere for her to go at that point. So it makes perfect sense. The only way they could have gotten away with not losing the tag titles is if Jade would have shown up on some, I'm ready to defend, I'm ready for my title to come back, Naomi, hand it over. And then we get some type of play with that. That would have been the only reason, the only way it would have made sense for them to keep the titles. But I thought the match was awesome, man. You talked about those false finishes. Like I said, it was like 4 or 5 of them that were legit false finishes. And nowadays, you don't get many false finishes. You may get 1 or 2 in a match, and then it becomes overkill where you kind of get taken out of the moment. Like, all right, like, what are we doing here? Like, that should have been it. And those false finishes weren't that at all. So I don't know who the producer was for that match, but fantastic work with them. And and fantastic work to the women, too.
Let's stay with the false finishes. Like, so, one, the camera work was great because you never saw the breakups coming. Like, right? It just kind of out of nowhere appeared, right? It's like Bianca, one of the saves. And man, she like a strong girl. She kind of came in and pushed the girl off of her. Mm-hmm. And it looked like that's a legit way to save, right? It looked like the girl just flew off of her. But the camera work was amazing. But for me, just watching the show as a fan, I'm invested in the characters. So, I'm invested in Naomi. I'm invested in Bianca. So, like, when they're, in these false finishes, I'm invested in the character. I don't want to see them lose. Right. So if they almost win or they almost get pinned or whatever, I'm actually invested in the outcome of this match because I care about these characters. That's what made the false finishes for me important. Like, right. Like, and that kind of reminds me, like, we had earlier in the match, we had Dakota Kai and Lyra in the match.
Incredible match.
Good match. But the false finishes, they couldn't miss me. Cause they won't, like, I wasn't particular. I didn't care if either one of them lost. Right. I like both girls, but for me, if Lyra won, cool. If Dakota won, cool. Like, right. I wasn't invested either way if one of them went down for the pin. Now in this match, I care about Bianca. I care about Naomi, and I think the crowd did. So now they're into the match. You're into the near finishes because you're invested into the moment. That's what a false finish needs to have. Mm-hmm. You got to have character work, and you got to have character investment, right? And I feel like the other women's match was missing that. And I guess I don't know if we have time to talk about it today because I don't know how much we got on docket. We already at an hour and 3 minutes right now. Y'all know for me that 60 minutes is my sweet spot. Yeah, God damn it. So I don't know what else we got to talk about, but I know women must have been listening to the podcast. We've been talking about women's stories, and it's come out on the dirt sheets that women are frustrated with the stories in the company. Like, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that match we had with Dakota and Lyra is a perfect example of not having story and character investment. If they had that match would have meant even more.
So, but people would argue, that the story of that match was Dakota getting a second chance. That was the story. Was her getting another shot. I do think it's interesting that She lost again, which we knew she was losing again. There was no doubt in my mind she was not winning the championship. So unless the story is, and then I thought, of course, I'm always like, after a match, okay, she lost. Now I'm immediately going to, do they turn her heel again, and does she cost like Io next week against Rhea? Like, if I don't have a championship, nobody's winning the championship, because like, where does she go now? But then when she got jumped by Ivy, which Ivy now's got something.
Hell yeah, she does.
I like Ivy now. I like her a lot. So like maybe they do a little something there, because she did jump her to go to the ring to, try to get at Lyra. But yeah, that was the story. And we know there's a ton of Dakota Kai fans, so that probably was enough for them. I know what you mean though, for sure. But I enjoyed that match too. I think that Lyra is doing a very good job of working hard.
She got some massive pops last night too, and they came across TV, which I was kind of shocked by. I did remember hearing, I'm like, wow, they are actually cheering for her. This is something I think she can actually build upon, because we've been saying, like, when she first came over, she was the jam. Then she kind of got stopped. Then she ends up winning a title, and sometimes it's kind of hard to bounce back again. But I think that this is good momentum for her. I think she's actually going in the right direction.
She is. Yeah, she is. So we had those two women matches. We got to talk about the two promo segments. Let's start with Cody and Seth.
What I could remember, didn't he say something like, "Don't let me regret saving your punk ass"? Didn't he say something like that?
They was talking a lot, man.
So when you were bringing up like the whole Rock and the devil's soul snatching kind of storyline, that's what popped in my head. Like, could Seth be aligned in that? If you're talking about going for another big heel to kind of push Cody over the edge, could it be Seth? Because when I heard him say, "Don't let me regret doing that for you," it just felt a lot different. Whereas I guess, Punk kind of said, "I'm gonna stab you in the front, we're friends, blah blah blah." It's just something a little bit different, because we know Seth, I mean, even Cody called him out. We know Seth will turn on you in a hot second. So it just felt to me more like that could be something there.
I've been down for Seth. You guys are hot and ready for a Cody heel turn. It ain't Cody, it's Seth. It's Seth.
But will he stay like that though? That's my thing. I'm tired of Seth being bad for a second and then coming back being playful bad. I want Seth. Like,
Seth was a shit, but he was heel for most of his run.
But it's a different kind of heel. It's like a heel of kind of, not even say flamboyant, but more of a not serious. Matt called it before. He coined the serious Seth. Like, I want a serious Seth heel. I don't want
if he were to turn, he's not gonna. I think he would. It would be a different character, especially if he would align with somebody like a Rock. It would be a character change, because remember, like this is supposed to be in the Joker, right? Started getting cheered, so they flipped him, like, right. So he tried to play the same character, but now he's getting cheered, right? But he's been a heel for most of his career, and I think that if he were to turn, I think it would be a different Seth character. Because that's the one thing about Seth, is that Seth he reminds me of he's a better version of Chris Jericho. I think Chris Jericho is a shell of himself right now, but Seth always reinvents himself. He has a different thing. You think about he's had different versions of his character throughout his entire career with WWE since being on the main roster, right? You had the Shield version, then you had corporate Seth, then you had the disciple guy. He has different variations of himself that I think he will kind of lean into. And I think that might be the next big feud for Cody. You talk about what's next for him after Mania. There's a lot of things left for Mania, because there's so many. It's like the top of that card is so hot. We talk about, what's happened at Mania. Man, I still want that Punk and that Cody feud. I want that big, long form Punk and Cody feud. I want to see a heel Seth against a Cody. I want to see Drew in the ring with them. I mean, there's a lot of toys for Cody to play with for this babyface run. I mean, there's a lot of stories to be told. And then at one point we got to get. I don't know when we're gonna get it, but it's there. We got to get Cody Roman 3 at some point.
And that's what I was about to say. Like, with the way Triple H is telling these long form stories, he's dragging the majority of it out. what you just said right there could be 2 years.
Yep.
And you didn't even mention Roman Punk. That's another one.
You mentioned Punk and Seth. A true Punk and Seth.
Yep. So it's a lot. It's a whole lot there. Damn.
Hey, real quick, right before we move for that match. You know, and the nice thing about, Paul has these guys interact with each other. All right. They kind of touch, almost like Strange Tonight. They kind of walk by each other and then they kind of part. Like, right? Whereas you look at AEW does a good job of keeping people apart for a while, but then they never really connect with each other over there. Like, right? And that's the one thing I like that Paul does on his show. Like, these guys, they connect at some point. They tease something. Hopefully, it's we see the fruit of it later on.
Mm-hmm. I am excited to watch AEW. I didn't know I watched last week. I'm going to give it a try. I promise I'm going to go into it with an open mind. I'm not going to critically watch.
Was it that 16-foot ring? Is that what interests you in watching it again?
No, it's honestly, I saw the card for Revolution, and that card looks fucking ridiculous. And I'm like, man, if TV supports this card, this could be really fun to watch. So that's kind of what did it for me. So I'm going to watch this week. I am going to watch. And I'm going to watch Revolution. I already said that next weekend. But I'm going to give it a try. But you brought up the AEW thing. I think what I really enjoy so much about Triple H's storytelling and what they're doing in WWE is that just because you're in the ring in the segment doesn't mean you're going to wrestle right now. And like, we've been so used to babyface or heels in the ring. The babyface or the heel cuts them off. We get that match that night. Or that's the next match at the pay-per-view. And they've done such a fantastic job because it's been Rumble season. So 30 people, 15 feuds divided by 2. Elimination Chamber, 6 people. Different iterations of what could be. Then we get to WrestleMania. They've just done a really, really good job of keeping us on our toes where you're watching and you're just like, oh shit, I would want to see that. Oh man, that could be cool if that was to be the match. So it gets your creative mind kind of thinking. What I don't want though is the other promo segment. I do not want to see CM Punk Logan Paul WrestleMania match. I'm sorry. I enjoyed the promo segment. Thought the promo segment was really, really good. I am straight.
Why you
all the
say
way
that
straight
though? Why you say you
on that
don't want
match.
to see it?
Because I want CM Punk in a bigger role. We can't go from him was going to main event last year's WrestleMania, and he had one of the feuds of the year with Drew after he came back from his injury, to then working Logan Paul. That is far away from a main event WrestleMania match. That is if he is
in whose eyes?
Everybody's.
Well, I mean, if you look at Logan Paul and the attention that he brings,
main event WrestleMania match.
Every WrestleMania I've seen Logan Paul in, match quality wise, he's brought it. I don't like
main
Logan
event.
Paul.
I'm not talking about match quality. I'm talking about the match that could be the last match on night 1 or night 2. CM Punk and Logan Paul is not that.
So at this point today, after watching Raw, do you think, and maybe take away the Logan segment, but just do you think Punk can be one of the last 2 matches on night 1 or night 2?
Absolutely. Hell
would you want him to be? Maybe that's a better question. Do you want him to? Outside of the fact he has a main event in WrestleMania, I'm talking about, do you actually believe the cards we have right now, he should be the co-main event on night 1, co-main event on night 2?
Yes.
E?
Hell to no.
No.
I might be closer to the not hell to the no, but I would say there's a lot of people at the top right now.
Rhodesia, you make a good point. Look, we gonna have our yeet off on probably night 1. I'm thinking we gonna get Gunther and Jay main eventing, and we're gonna have our yeet off to close the night 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then night 2 is gonna be Cody and whoever.
Maybe right, it could be Cody and Cena. I mean,
right?
Punk. Well, I think it's Cody and Cena, but it could be Cody Punk.
Yeah,
and you would think both of you, because both of y'all said hell to the no. You guys would think that match would be out of place.
I said Punk. You saying Cody and Punk?
Yeah. If that's the match for night 2, is that match out of place?
I don't think we're gonna get there. The only way. Okay, to answer your question, out of place. No,
No,
we're
I
still
don't think the
talking about
question
CM Punk.
was out of place. I think Rhodesia
yeah.
was like with everybody else in front. Like, which matches would you rather have? I'd rather have Cena and Cody versus Cena and Punk. Right? What last time?
Okay,
last time too on the big stage.
Only taking what they have shown us. If they go Seth, Roman, and Punk, just because that was what we saw at the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Only going off of what they show us. Even if that match is not the main event of night 1, I would hope they would give Jay the spot.
They gotta be the
right.
last
You
match.
got to give Jay that spot over Gunther.
That
say if it's
like
the co-main. Say if it's the second to last match.
Could they? No, they can't. I want to say they couldn't do something like bitchy, like put that as like the opener, right? You can't do that.
No, because you would gas the crowd out. Yeah, you can't eat off the crowd. Yeah, no.
And you can't do it in the middle of the show either. Correct. Yeah, you can't do it in the middle of the show either. Right.
That's why it
gotta
has
be the last
to be.
one. Yeah.
You could maybe have gotten away with it back in the day with the 8-hour WrestleManias. In the middle of the show.
Right.
You can maybe get away with it at the 4.5-hour mark.
Oh, trying to wake somebody up?
Yeah.
Wake me up.
Yep. But you can't do that now.
I'm up in the cheap. I'm up in these $400 seats. I don't pay for, and I'm half asleep. I don't know what match I fell asleep on, but I swear to God, I fell asleep two of them damn matches.
That was the one in Dallas, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's crazy. So we talked about that. We talked about what else happened? Oh, New Day. It's time to start heating them up.
You don't think they're heating them up now?
Not fast enough. They did such an awesome job with that heel turn and had us all talking about the New Day. And then for the next, pull it up, Rhodesia, real quick. See when they turned on Big E. What episode was that? Because they were still on the USA Network, so they wasn't on Netflix yet. So for them to have followed up with just basically feuding with the entire locker room in LWO, I think is a massive miss.
December 2nd.
December 2nd. So we're going on January, February.
Almost
3 months.
3 months.
It's not enough. It's not enough. We need more. Need more.
What would you have them do?
Great question.
Who'd you have them with?
I mean, they could be with themselves. I need more than them just feuding with the LWO. They should be nuclear hot with heat. And somebody would argue say they took out Rey Mysterio. Got it. That's a big deal. That is. But
who's the babyface team for them feud against?
Maybe you don't do tag team if you're not gonna put the titles on them. Because remember, we thought maybe they were going to be the number one contenders. Because you can still do them in singles.
Yeah, because that's what we're going to do before the whole Big E thing. They were actually about to leave each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I could see maybe what you're saying a tiny bit, but I think they are taking those steps. We got the new music. We got the new look. I think we're slowly getting there. You mentioned LWO. I'm not even about to trash that situation, but I guess it's who they're going against. I think they are doing it. Maybe they're not getting as fast as maybe you want it, but they still get booed out of the building. So I got it. You scrolled right there.
Sorry. Yep, I got it.
Scroll.
My bad. It just hit me. I did like scroll. Sorry about that.
You sure did.
No, because he was like,
scared
who?
The shit out of me.
No, because I hadn't stopped thinking when he was like, who would they?
I almost peed on myself.
It's the Hardys.
Oh no. Oh Lord.
What'd you say?
The Hardys.
Ooh.
That's what you do with them.
But no, that conflicts everything that I said in my mind 2 years ago that I want the Hardys. Thank you, Hardys, for everything you've done to this company. I know Jeff looks amazing now, but I just don't want to be a hypocrite because I had already said my eulogy to the Hardys. And now I'm like, yeah, bring them back. Like, I feel like I'm being a hypocrite.
They weren't used properly. When you're at their age, they have to be, when you see them, it needs to be special. And AEW has always done a tremendous job with legends. Go back to Sting. Sting may have had the best send-off in the history of professional wrestling.
Absolutely.
At a high level of what they did for him. Undefeated, everything they did, protected him, et cetera, et cetera. They did the opposite for the Hardys. Like, they were wrestling on fucking Rampage. You can't have like that. That's not the role they need to be in. They need to be in a role where they are presented as the big deals that they are, the legends that they are. So we knew when they left AEW and then they went to Impact and then or TNA, and with their working relationship. Oh, actually, they're on NXT tonight, which I guess I got to watch that too next couple of days. But that's what you do. You bring them in sometime. I don't know if you do it before Mania. Maybe you even do it the night after Mania on that Raw show, and that could be a really fun feud.
Didn't they come back to fight the New Day when they first came back to WWE years ago?
New Day was the host of WrestleMania, and they introed them.
That okay. I knew they were attached somehow. Yep. Okay.
But that was my point though. I feel like right now the New Day are the tag team division. There's not so like the champions are the War Raiders, and I wouldn't necessarily call them hot right now.
I agree.
You know, right? So like it would just make more sense to let New Day continue to do character work, continue to get over their new persona and get over their new act, and they're drawing massive heat. Let them do their own thing. Like, right, continue to build those characters so then you eventually slot them over to the War Raiders or whoever. Because, like, right now on the Raw side of the tag team division, it's pretty shallow. You got the War Raiders. You got the actually, I don't know who's in the tag team division besides New Day and the War Raiders.
LWO,
I know that we had the,
right?
Technically, MGK.
Who else? Right? Like, right?
Whatever their names is.
You got the Judgment Day variation, right? Who they beat. Like, right? So it's not like there's a lot of depth on that tag team. You mentioned Hardys for now, but we're talking about Hardys are under contract with a whole other company. Like, right? So they haven't been around for 90 days. So I feel like based on what we had to work with, this is probably the best New Days have to do. Because I don't think you necessarily need to insert everyone into a feud. Sometimes just having them come out there, do character work, having backstage screens, because like sometimes that gets them more over than being in an actual feud with somebody.
So let's be fair. If 3 months ago when they turned on Big E and we came on our pod and we glowed about how great the promo was and how excited we were for their heel run, if 3 months ago you were to fast forward to tonight and you just pulled up on paper and just saw, okay, they had a promo segment here. Okay, they took out Rey Mysterio, nothing. They beat LWO on Raw. Would you say like, oh, all right, that's cool? Or would you feel like, oh man, this is a little bit of a missed opportunity?
It's a missed opportunity because LWO. That's all. Go ahead, E.
Yeah, that's real talk though. But so you think about it, right? So like if I got LWO so if I got the books though, right? So like the natural thing, or they turned on Big E. The natural feud coming out of that would be Big E being involved in some type of program with them. Like maybe Big E manages a tag team against them, or Big E, comes out of retirement and gets a tag team partner and goes against these guys. Like that will be like your feud, but that's not on the card because Big E isn't cleared. He can't wrestle. So that's off the books. So who are these new antagonists up against? Like, right? They built up Rey Mysterio and the LWO. As the locker room guys are trying to stand up against these guys, say, hey, you guys are jerks, you guys are assholes, and that's who they've been feuding with for the entire time. Now, the bigger question is, who in place of Big E would have been a better protagonist in this story? That's the question, right? They should have had somebody else in place of Big E that can be the voice of Big E or stand in his place. That's what the bigger thing would have been. But instead of actually putting somebody else, established character and act, they decided to establish this new character, team, and persona these guys had, right? First, they didn't have music. First, they didn't have new wrestling gear, right? Then slowly got new music. They got new gear. They got new attitudes. They're training the audience to boo them, right? As soon as they speak, right? Almost like they did with the Yeet, right? They're training the audience to get a certain response every time these guys are on the screen. So now whoever the next protagonists are against these guys, and I don't know who it's going to be. Maybe it could be the Hardys later on. But I tell y'all what, I haven't seen the Hardys wrestle in 2 years since they've been gone at AEW. I wasn't impressed with what they did at AEW when I saw them dudes wrestle. Like they was slow motion versions of themselves. Yeah. It was chopped up and screwed versions of the Hardy Boys. I didn't like that back in the day. I don't know what they wrestle like now. 2 years later, we gonna see. But
he said, "God bless." That's what he said. Mm-hmm. Last thing before we get to Elimination Chamber, unless you guys got something else for Raw, they've been teasing Judgment Day, we need a new member. We need a new member. We need a new member. Now, granted, Liv and Raquel have won gold, so maybe now they ease up on we need a new member. But if there had to be a new member in Judgment Day, is there anybody that you guys are looking at and you're like, man, I would want that person to be a new member of Judgment Day?
The only that I would want, no, I want Judgment Day to be done actually, but I guess the low hanging fruit of who they could be a Carrion, could be Alistair, but I wouldn't want neither of them. So there's nobody I would want, to answer your question.
No, I kind of agree. I don't want Malachi anywhere near that because they're kind of almost like they're like a joke. They're like some goons now. Like, to be honest with you, right now, Carrion actually will fit right into that. Like, but I don't think that him joining that team will make them even more formidable. Like, right? I think like the projection that they're already on, he'll continue to be on there. I don't think that Carrion would mean a lick of difference to making that team be more serious. If anything,
Damn,
I actually wouldn't mind. I've always wanted to see AJ Styles and Finn Balor together again in some type of faction. I always wanted to see that.
Does that completely change the perception of Judgment Day?
Like, well, see, all right. So I like Finn. I like Finn because I think Finn is turned to a real villain asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right? He is he's a villain asshole to his own team. Like, right? He's constantly, belittling Carlito. Like, now he's picking on Dom every single week.
Yeah.
Like, so what I'm saying, he keeps throwing shots at Liv. Right? He's like on a tear. He's just a terrible person. Like, right? So if you were to put AJ Styles in there, which I don't think they will, but let's say you put him, he's going to be a serious heel. Right? You got an asshole, you got a serious heel. They got to cut the fat. I feel like them joke characters like Carlito, he get up out of there. I don't know if we necessarily will keep Liv and Raquel. Maybe you actually will. I think they'll cut Carlito out of there, and then maybe they put like a heavy in the group, and they kind of make them more of a serious team. But I feel like the Judgment Day has a stink on it.
It does. I mean, they would have to, if they do a new member, you want to say WWE will have to figure out what they want the Judgment Day to look like. Because we've seen a couple different iterations of the Judgment Day. Looks completely different at the beginning than what it did when Finn came, than what it did when Maria and Damian were both baby faces to like now. So if it's going to continue, because they are a joke. Like they are, and not like they're not a joke in it's I gotta turn my TV off joke. They're a joke in the majority of their backstage promos and segments are funny. Like they're an intentional joke. Right. Like it's like we're laughing with them. We're not laughing at them. So they will have to figure out, okay, is it still going to be like a funny type of like what are we doing here? So I think that would probably be the question they have to answer. Because if so, Carlito's got to go. You still got JD. Well, hopefully he's doing well when he comes back. Does he get slotted back with them? But I think they got to answer that first. They got to answer that. But I think we're probably in store for more infighting. Now that women's tag titles are in the Judgment Day, we're going to get some of that. We're champs. What are you guys doing? So I think we just got to now prepare ourselves for that.
I could be there for the Phenomenal One and Finn Balor because we didn't quite get it, I guess, at the Bullet Club, right? One took over, one left, that whole story. But I also don't want that to be done in vain just to check it off the box. Like, hey, we got them together. It would have to be deep down in my heart and soul. It has to be like maybe not like a menacing team, but it gotta be for real. Like when I talk about serious Seth, it gotta be serious them. Like Finn, you're right, he's been kind of this character of ha ha ha, pointing, laughing, still goes in the ring. We know the Phenomenal One can too. It just has to look different. And I just can't see anybody in Judgment Day sticking together to where it would not make me feel like it was just done in vain. They would have to, if it's a breakup, and then the two of them tag together, or it just has to look completely different. Otherwise, I would be so mad that they wasted that.
Got it.
Hey, real quick, did you see the colognes popped up on TNA?
No.
Oh, did they?
Yep.
Good for them.
Primo
No, I haven't
Epico.
seen it.
Right, so you think about like I've always kind of wanted like those three guys to get together. I think they missed each other. I think when those two became a team, I think Carlito ended up leaving the company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now they're around each other again. Like, right? So I think that'd be interesting. And,
Now, they could be LWO.
Hell yeah, they certainly could.
They
man.
could be
And,
LWO.
Elias is over there in TNA too.
Yeah, I saw he just signed this past week or something, right? Or he just showed up.
Yeah.
Either he signed or he showed up on TV this past week.
Strange, because we saw him in vignettes with the Righteous on. I don't think it was actually on AEW TV or ROH TV, but there were vignettes with Elias and the Righteous. So we thought that he was going to AEW. So to see him in TNA, interesting.
Wrestling is in a very good space, man. We in just 22 seconds, you brought up 4 different companies that are doing well.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Vince's new upstart company coming on Fox.
What is that about?
Yeah,
did y'all hear about that? Well, of course you did. You brought it up. Did you hear about that, Rhodesia?
What?
Actually, I think I took a screenshot because I said I forgot about it.
So I didn't play this. I didn't expect to play this, so I didn't have the Between the Sheets music playing. But this is Dirty Sheet music. But there's rumors. Vince is starting like an entertainment company.
Okay.
Like, right. So he's hired a bunch of he's been in talks with a bunch of the old WWE execs that got let go or quit or got fired or whatever the case may be. He's been talking to WWE old cameramen. And I think Vince and Shane popped up at the Super Bowl, and Vince ain't been nowhere in like 80 years. So he popped up at Super Bowl. And that was a heavy Fox show.
Yep.
Right. So the rumor is that maybe Vince is trying to start up a new wrestling company, and maybe he might be in partnership with Fox. Now, Fox didn't want to do AEW show, right? But maybe they're partnering with Vince on a brand new venture that's going to be on Fox. That's the booty.
I have no comment on that. My mama told me if you have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all.
That's why you suck as a podcaster.
Wow. Did y'all hear this? How rude this is.
You brought up Shane. So y'all heard that about Shane, right? Shane was like, let me run this whole fucking company for AEW, and
he's like, no.
And in the meeting, in the meeting.
You can't think you can do that, Shane. Like, come on, dude. See, that's when Tony Khan. That's when no.
You said example A, Royal Rumble.
You missed it. You were passed out sitting next to us with dying from COVID, so you don't remember anything. E and I sat through that damn show. Somebody on Twitter gonna tweet back at me when I said that was like a worst 2 Royal Rumbles, and he's like, stop capping. And he started naming off. It's like, dude, okay, you weren't there. So, like, if you want to start doing anything else. But I laughed so hard when I saw that. Come on, Shane. You cannot think you can come in, get some equity, and run the whole show.
It's art of negotiation, okay? You throw everything on the wall.
But why would you think? But why would you think? Why would you think that's okay? I don't like that. That is crazy to me.
Like Tony needs your money. Like, why would he? Like
what are you talking about here?
Yeah. I want to get down with you. I want to run your show. I want equity in the company. Sound good, Tony?
Like, seriously. Like,
then Coach reports that that TK ghosted him. Like, okay, no shit.
Right. Like, that's what I say. That's one of those where we know how nice of a guy Tony Khan is. If he did ghost him, he is well within his right. The word is he didn't know. I guess they said, like, they just maybe ended the meeting.
He said in negotiations.
So do y'all remember that? Y'all remember that photo that leaked?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the courtroom, in the
no, it was
office,
in
the press room,
it was
whatever
it might
they
have
call
been the courtroom.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I thought of when I saw that report. I'm like, I could just see Shane at that moment telling TK, and I'm going to run everything. And like somebody,
because you saw his hands. His hand was like
he
in
was
that
like,
motion.
and I'm going to run everything. TK text somebody, was like, come here, take this
Security.
fucking picture. Let's get this shit. Let's get this man out of here. That's nuts. All right, let's talk Elimination Chamber really, really quick because it's about to be an hour and 35 minutes in. So we got Elimination Chamber, Rhodesia. How many matches we got?
So far, what I'm seeing here is 4.
Okay, 4 in the Rock Cody segment.
Correct. Yes.
That's our 5th match.
Well,
got it.
We don't know if it. Well, yeah, it's a segment. We just don't know how it's going to look. But yeah, you're right.
Correct.
It's a segment. Yeah.
All right. Which one? What match are we starting with?
Let's go with the Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus versus Nia Jackson, Candice LeRae. I had no idea that we were seeing this. I'm assuming that this came up on SmackDown.
Yes.
That I was asleep on.
Yeah. Well, they announced it 2 weeks ago.
Did you know that your friend over there sat up here and took pictures of me while I was sleeping?
Oh, yeah, I saw him.
Yeah, I sent it to him.
Yeah.
Out of line. Okay. So you said
you and Matt. It's just me, Oos. That's what I said. Y'all was knocked out.
So we have Trish in another match. Okay, good for her. Again, my mama said if you don't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all.
Does your mama podcast?
Nah. But she actually is going to be on a soap opera in a couple of months. So she's going to have her acting debut in a couple of months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I do just want to explain what this is supposed to be. You are on a podcast, meaning you're supposed to tell your thoughts and opinions on said topics.
What is wrong with you today? Why is you so hyped?
You can't get on a podcast and say, if mama said they ain't got nothing to say, why are you here then?
That's a great question. I could have checked out 45 minutes ago.
You might as well have. You ain't watch it. You ain't watch it. You don't know shit. You ain't saying shit. You ain't did shit.
I'm saying a lot. Okay, so what am I supposed to say? Okay, so Trish is in her hometown.
Oh no, we don't need. I'm sorry. No, we don't need that. We just want to know. Do you care about the match? Like, just kind of talk about.
Negro, I just said. If my mama
found out. You just found out about the match. Cool. I'm excited for this match because anytime I get to see Trish, I'm happy for it.
What?
I think it'd be a fun match.
Dude, you didn't say that a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, whenever that was.
Because she was feuding with Becky.
But you said anytime I could see Trish on my TV, I'm excited for her.
Correct.
That's a complete flip.
Oh, you didn't see. She was in the Royal Rumble. She looked really good. She did a good job.
Yeah, because in the Royal Rumble, you have 29 other people. Anyway, share your thoughts about this match that came about on SmackDown.
Man, Trish, man, she's damn near 50, man, but she's still as hot as she ever was, man. Beautiful woman, right? So, nice match. Am I going to be invested in the near falls? Probably not.
But it's be a fun match, though, right? Like she's me hometown. This will be fun. Like that's what I just look at for this show. It's gonna be a fun show. Like, it's not a serious show. Like the serious matches are Elimination Chamber, so we can see who wins.
And then the unsanctioned match.
But even that one, so like,
well, we can go there now.
This doesn't feel like it's the end of the feud, right? Like, does this feel like a one and done to you guys?
What's that?
You mean like a rubber band
KO
match,
and
like
Sammy.
the ending of it? No, because with them, regardless, they're the yin to each other's yang. Like, they're gonna always be together. They're always gonna be the Batman and Joker. That will always be the case. Will it be the end of this particular feud? Sure, I'll say yes to that. But at the end of the day, their careers will always be in tandem together with each other.
Maybe I was watching it last night because I like all these shows run together. But the recap of Sammy and KO's feud was on, I believe. Katrina was in the room. And I just told Katrina, I'm like, you know what? This thing escalated quickly, so like these guys want to like murder each other. Sammy's pulling up at my man's house. You know what I'm saying? Wanted to fight him at the crib. Mama intercepted him, and they talk about old times. And like this thing really spiraled out of control really quickly. We went from Sammy was out there trying to help the man up to the next night, KO power driving him, Sammy got up, a week later, everything all good, challenged him to an unsanctioned match, and now these guys are bitter enemies again. Like very, very quickly. Like we'll talk about like hitting the fast forward button on a feud. They did that very, very quickly. If this wasn't Mania this season, maybe this was part one. But I just feel like we skipped a lot of story that led right up into this. Like it kind of all came together very quickly. I'm assuming nothing's wrong with Randy Orton. Like wrong as long as Randy Orton is healthy and he's just holding tight, and we get that match, because I feel like the big match is Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Because Randy Orton got to explain to me why a regular ass power driver took him out
Correct.
for 2 years.
This guy's 7'5",
right? And then
300
you
pounds.
got Cody done defended his title like 4 times by now. Like Sammy is good enough to where he can go to people's mama's houses and try to go look for beef. You know what I'm saying? But Randy been gone. You know what I'm saying? And look, the kids gonna be graduating from high school by the time Randy Orton get out of this damn regular ass power driver. So I feel like that's the next thing we got to get to is that match. And this is to me, I feel like this is just a stopgap until we get to that match.
Yeah, like it. When I was watching Raw, it kind of felt like, I mean, the timeline is there because I said, weeks ago I thought it would be KO and Randy at Mania, but it feels like everything you just said, E. Like this can't be the last match. This feels like one of those matches that maybe it's never even a match because we know it's not sanctioned. Like maybe it's so out of control, it never really even gets started. We get physicality, but like this ain't the match. And then maybe you run it back at Mania and you have Orton come back at Mania. So maybe you don't do KO and Randy at Mania and Orton just returns. That would be a great moment. It just feels like we're missing something. Like we're leaving some meat on the bone with this one. Like it doesn't feel like it should end after Saturday. To me, this feud feels like it needs to keep going after Saturday. We'll see, what they end up doing, seeing it's unsanctioned. Maybe somebody goes out hurt or something, but then you would think both of them should have a match at WrestleMania. All right, so I'm intrigued to see how that plays itself out, but I don't want a one and done personally. If somebody said, hey, because I'm only going off once again what they present on TV, either you can get KO Sammy 2 at WrestleMania, maybe in another stipulation or that blow off match, or you do KO and Randy and you do Sammy and maybe we go Karrion Kross. They've had a couple of interactions. I would go, honestly, Sammy KO 2 for WrestleMania.
I think when this question came up maybe about a month or so ago, it was who would we rather see go against KO, Orton, or Sammy? And I think, at least for me, I said that I think the bigger name was KO and Randy. But to me, just following them in their careers, I always felt like Sammy and KO was probably more meaningful to me. So again, it's unsanctioned, so it could just be straight chaos this Saturday, and then the real match could be Mania, but for Sammy and for KO. But for me, I feel like they're, regardless if this ends now, if it blows off now, or if somebody's gonna be gone for some months, whatever, they're gonna always be beefing with each other. They're brothers. It's almost like, and you said it escalated quickly. Yeah, it did. But when KO kind of got out of the thing with Cody, like what was going to be there for him, I thought that was a perfect timing for that. But how we got here that quick, hey, maybe y'all can argue that. But that's why it's unsanctioned. But to me, their brothers are always going to just instantly want to just take each other head off.
Yeah,
or at least that's how I'm with siblings. My siblings, at any moment, you breathe the wrong way and I'm ready to fight you.
Yeah, they can always come back to this. I mean, obviously, like I said, they microwave the feud and to get it's nice and hot. There's no like because like there's history, right? These guys know each other, like you said, they're brothers, they're best friends in real life. Like they have a connection to each other like no other, right? So they can always quickly bring up history to kind of bring this back. Like they can this feud. Frenemy thing, and they can do this for the rest of their careers, and it'll probably be as interesting. Because number one, like I can't think of another feud like this to where both guys are so entertaining. on the microphone
Mhm.
and in the ring. Like, right. And then also have chemistry.
Yep.
Like with each other in the ring and on the microphone. Like on both sides, right? Together and against each other. Like, I can't think of another two set of friends that have this kind of chemistry with each other. But they can always do this. They can do this forever.
It's beautiful. Yep. And they're in Canada too. So I think that's probably where it got microwaved at as well. But
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you do.
Yeah.
This is the great spot to have it.
and
for
you gotta sell a stadium out. Can't forget that. I don't know how many people are buying tickets to see that match in particular, but I'm just saying they have. To
I would
have
say a
big-
lot. I mean, especially if you. Well, those tickets are already sold.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Like, right now, WWE is like what AEW was back in the day, right? Like, you're showing up just to see AEW.
Yep,
Or
you
you're just
show-
showing up.
yeah,
now
off the
now you're
vibes,
showing
off
up
the
just
strength.
to go. Yeah,
Off
now
the
you're showing up to see
vibe.
WWE.
yep. Women's match. Of course, y'all know I got Bianca winning. Who y'all got winning?
I probably roll with Bianca as well too. I haven't given it too much thought, but I think with them dropping the tag titles, it freed her of it. So I would go with Bianca to win. But I think there's going to be a really good match.
I'm going Bianca as well.
So three out of three. Going Bianca. Let's get it done, Bianca. We need to see you in Riyadh Mania. Men's Elimination Chamber match. I'm going John Cena. Because that's the only way we can get to John Cena and Cody. And I've been saying that since November, so I cannot change now. Even though if I had to, I could absolutely change now, but I'm going to go John Cena.
John Cena.
I'm going John Cena too. But you know what?
Yeah.
So if you want to book Turbo Business, like you guys constantly do with Cody turning heel all the time, we never got that John Cena heel turn. Maybe John Cena is in cahoots with The Rock.
Uh-oh.
And John Cena decides he's going to be the new people's champ. And so for the next year, he's going on a heel run as a heel champion. He's going to be that heel John Cena that we never got. But
So thrice in a lifetime is going to be them paired together,
You think that would be bad business?
because this is his farewell tour.
Yep.
Like, do you really want to book a heel? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, his last run is as a heel on his last year in the business and limited dates.
No,
I
you
know- I
don't
know if
probably.
I don't know if you want to do that.
Right.
But if
I
Cena
think-
wants it, when you give Cena what
Well,
he
you're
wants?
saying no. Well, he's not. You're not saying from a storyline. You're saying business.
I'm not telling a story. Yeah, I'm
From a
talking
business perspective. Got it. Yeah,
got
for
it,
sure.
Got it.
So okay, so we all went Cena.
Mm-hmm.
Let's book Cody and Rock. What's happening on Saturday with them two?
Just off principle, Cody cannot sell his soul unless Rock has Brandy locked up in the closet and said, if you don't do it, I'm going to end her, whatever, something demonic, then he can't. He just can't. Cody can't, because as of this moment, he has no reason to do it. Like literally no reason.
So you're going with Cody says, no, I can't. And he just walks out.
I ain't say all that. I'm just saying that Cody's not selling his soul
Okay.
on Saturday.
And then that's it. Do we get
I can't-
physicality at that point? What? Like what? He says no, then what?
I must say no physicality from The Rock. Now, let's say if Rock brings a henchman or something else happens, sure, but Rock won't put hands on Cody outside of touching and caressing his face. Rock's not going to do
He
that.
doesn't kiss him in his mouth. Okay, got it. So we getting some kissies. E.
So I got a question. So y'all over here advocating The Rock kidnapping a black woman and holding her hostage in the closet, but y'all got a problem with me keeping baby oil, doing a Diddy impression on my counter?
We never said we had a problem. I just asked you to explain.
I had a problem. Consent.
She may have had a
That's why I
problem.
said it's jokes. This is all jokes.
Like, hey, her consent was when she said I do.
No,
I
no.
saw.
Oh,
yeah.
hell to
Turn
the
that
no.
up.
Oh, yeah.
I can talk now.
Oh,
I can
yeah.
talk. I'm
Look,
ready.
no,
I'm
you ain't
here.
got nothing to
say.
I ain't
I
watched
do.
I ain't watched 1 hour of
Did-
wrestling this week, but I can
Did
go.
you
Did
say I do? God damn it! Look,
No,
look,
it's still consent.
look. There was I saw this meme on TikTok, and the woman was mad at the man because he didn't ask her to be his Valentine.
I think I saw that.
You saw that? You're like, woman,
We're married.
like, you don't remember that? You remember when I asked you? She's like, no. You remember when we was in church and I got on my knee and I said I do for the rest of our life. I want to be with you. That means you are my Valentine for the rest of my life. Right? When I got on my knee and she said I do, that means that she agreed to part like the Red Sea for the rest of our lives.
Again, this is just jokes because, of course, Eshaun believes in consent.
Don't speak for him. You can't speak for yourself. Let's not do
I
that
can absolutely speak for myself. I just told you I was speaking for myself.
Don't say nothing nice the fuck? You kidding me? So what I would do is I would not show. Of course, I wouldn't have. I mean, if Cody said yes and walked out with The Rock, huge moment. Let's say that's not going to happen.
It's not.
I wouldn't have Rock name his guy on the show, right? So I wouldn't have Drew align with The Rock at Elimination Chamber, anybody in that main event. I wouldn't have any of that. What would be fun is if Cody and The Rock is still on for WrestleMania. Cody turns him down. Rock enters himself into the Elimination Chamber after the match is over. Say whoever wins is down, bloody. You know how that game goes. Music hits. He had the power to pull Cody out of his match in SmackDown. He damn sure has the power to put himself in the match. Rock bottom, 1, 2, 3. That's how we get to Cody and Rock at WrestleMania. If they're going to wrestle, I think that would be great. If they're not going to wrestle, I wouldn't have Rock do anything in regards to picking his person or anything like that until we get to the road to WrestleMania, and then the reveal happens at WrestleMania.
Oh, so let's say Rock enters himself into the into Elimination Chamber after everybody's down, bloody, and out. Is he entering with his Versace vest on?
Might as well, because I mean he ain't gonna work. Like everybody's down. All I gotta do is just pin the guy.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
I like that.
But think about that heat.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I would love that.
And think about the heat if he pins one of the favorites, John Cena, CM Punk. Think about the heat he gets from the crowd.
I would love that.
That would be fun. And I mean, then let's also remember too, there's also, when does Roman come back? He's got to come back. I mean, he's on the clock. Like, does he cost somebody the match? Does he cost Seth the match at some point? At some point, we know the chamber's opening. Somebody's gonna get hurt or something. They got to unlock the door.
Yeah.
The door's gonna be open, and then that's how we get some of those shenanigans. So that's another match I'm excited for. That's probably the whole card, right?
That is the whole card.
Cool. So it should be fun. We'll have a lot to talk about next week. Next week, we are going to have Backstage Brawl on. Programming note, we were supposed to have them on this week, but I moved them to next week because we got so much to talk about next week. We'll be able to talk about just Elimination Chamber, how the show was. We'll be able to break down Rhea and Io for the championship, what that looks like. And by time next podcast starts, we should know probably what? Everything. 5 matches for Mania at that point?
Everything.
Somewhere around there?
Everything.
So should be a really, really fun show next week. Y'all got anything else before we get out of here?
I do. And I got to speak from my heart here. I don't really care about Elimination Chamber. I feel like it's the No Way Out. Back in the late early 2000s, like it's just getting us to where we need to get to Mania. Like, I'm sorry, this is probably going to be some good storytelling and all this. Maybe not in the Trish match, but it's going to be some good storytelling. But for me, yeah, if it costs $59.95 to watch this, I wouldn't have gone out of my way to pay for it. To be honest with you, I'm not really. My expectation for Elimination Chamber is not there at all.
So do you think that has anything to do with, because you really haven't been watching the shows over the last couple of weeks?
It would have to be. It just has to be, because if it's what it sounds like, I would be more connected, more invested in where we're going here. So I would think just by default, I would be more interested in Elimination Chamber, but a lot more, who knows?
Or not necessarily. You could be already looking at WrestleMania. that could just be where your hype is at.
Well, that's what, again, this is my No Way Out.
Yeah.
And we remember back at, granted, yes, we don't have the matches yet, where back then we kind of already knew No Way Out. Hey, there's no way out getting out of this because you out of this pay-per-view. I think that was the joke. There's no way getting out of this pay-per-view because you already know what's going to happen. The matches at the lineup for Mania, which we're not there yet. But it just, in my mind, yeah, after the Rumble, come on. Let's just give me my action. Give me what I need to get to so I can look forward to Mania.
You know, I actually thought about The Rock entering himself into the chamber and winning. You know, sending his thugs to clear everybody out just to give him an easy win. And that's what I fantasized, you know, months ago when I thought that there still was a chance that we would get Rock and Cody.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if that would have come to light, that'd be awesome. But for me, the kids, they're excited to see John Cena. That's the good thing about John Cena. I talk about, like, you know, for business, right? Like, Cena still has the kids, right? He still got the colorful shirts, you know. So the kids want to watch John Cena on Saturday, so I'm excited to sit back and watch some wrestling with them. It should be a cool little 3 hours. But I'm with you, Rhodesia. I'm glad I'm not spending, you know, $60. I'm only spending the $10, whatever it is I pay for Peacock nowadays. So, but I am looking forward to talk about wrestling with the squad next week. We should have lots to talk about, as you said.
Should be good. Should be good, guys. All right, we out of here then. You guys know socials: Twitter, X, Instagram. That's F&W. YouTube. That's Freaking Wrestling. We are all over the place. We continue to be the best kept secret in wrestling podcast. Like I said at the top, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a family member. See y'all next week. Peace.